people. Happy Sunday. At least that's when I'm recording this. Hot as hell outside, too. But anywho, today is about Invincible, episode 5, called That Actually Hurt. Aptly named title for the episode. We're going to get right into it right now. So we open up, we're at this warehouse, and we're introduced to a character named Titan. Now, I'm not too familiar with him from the comics. I don't remember that much about him. However, when I first saw him on screen, immediately what came to mind was Cyborg. If you remember from the Teen Titans show of like the early 2000s, the actual good one, right? There was this episode in which Cyborg had to go undercover at the Hive Academy. So in order to do so, he had to get a new alias. In this case, his alias was Stone, and I'm probably going to put a GIF so you can see what I'm talking about. But basically, when he put his fists together, he would turn to stone, and that's who he was. And I get the same thing from Titan here. It's like, what if Stone was reimagined and placed in an alternate universe, and here's Titan? And I love it, right? So we get a little bit of an introduction to him. We see him doing multiple jobs, seemingly for no reason, but we figure out he's really trying to pay off a debt to his boss, aptly named Machine Head. And we sort of see, while he's doing these crimes, he holds sympathy for those who are adolescents and those who have families, mainly because he himself has a little girl and he has a family. So, he's not really going to outright kill kids and those with families. And we see that happen twice. So we cut from that and we see Invincible is starting to gain some popularity in the city. However, within his relationships, it's very much not popular. He's very much struggling. And it's that classic, superhero conflict. How am I supposed to balance the hero life with my personal life? And in this case, Mark is trying to really balance his relationship with Amber. I am really loving Amber, and I'm going to get into that later on. But he's trying to figure out how to do things with Amber, and it's not really working. He's constantly late, constantly not showing up. And Amber is getting fed up. She's getting real fed up with it, right? And he ends up actually quitting his job. So that was a surprise. I don't know how well that's going to go over with Mom. So we cut back to Titan and we finally meet his boss, Machine Head. Love, 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 love. I love Machine Head's voice. I know they put like a synthesizer and like auto-tune on it. But it sounds great. And there are certain scenes where he'll raise his voice and like the auto-tune will raise with it. And it's so funny. I love his voice, but he's an asshole. So Titan goes to pay off his debt and his boss is like, yeah, you're not done. We're not finished. I know where your family is. So you're going to keep working for me. So Titan is pretty upset by that. Pretty disappointed. And we're gonna come back to that soon. He realizes he needs to take down his boss, and he doesn't really get the idea to call Invincible until later on when he sees him in action. So we cut, and Mark and Omni-Man are still training. Omni-Man is really starting to show his true colors. I know throughout the last 4 episodes we've definitely seen the real Mark. He's very narcissistic. He's very controlling. And he's also he's almost sociopathic. I really get that vibe from him, especially in this episode. So they're training and Omni-Man is continuously still trying to impose his views and how he feels a hero should act. He's trying to really push that onto Mark. And Mark is different. And of course, part of that is because he has a human mother versus an alien dad. So that is going to come into play because he still has some humanity while Omni-Man really does not. So Mark has to like end training early because there's a very, very important date that he has with Amber, and he ends up being 2 hours late. And this is the breaking point for Amber because this was the dinner in which he was supposed to meet the parents. Like, they have been dating 3 months. This was important. He missed it. So she's fed up. She's basically like, look, I'm kind of over this. I'm ready to call it quits. You're never here. You were always lying. I'm done. And Mark almost tells her that he's invincible, but he stops himself. And I hope that he actually tells her, because in the comics he tells her, and then that's a whole thing. But I think that kind of led to their breakup as well. So we'll see. After that, let's see what happens. So Titan asks Invincible for help later on in the episode. And we get the feeling that Invincible really he takes a lot from his dad, and part of that is this sort of thing where he's like, look, I'm looking at the bigger picture. I don't really care about what's going on down there. I'm trying to save the planet. I'm trying to do things. I don't have time to worry about whatever it is you got going on. So Titan's like, oh, okay. And so he kind of teaches Mark what's going on in the real world right here on the ground. He not teaches him, but he shows him the corruption that happens on a daily basis that people like him probably wouldn't care about because they're too busy saving the planet. Let's see. So after Invincible Man initially meets with Titan, he goes back home, and Mark is, talking to his parents about wanting to help him. And Omni-Man immediately is like, no, you're not doing it. No. Right? So Mark is trying to argue to help him. Like, look, he has a family. He has a daughter. I want to see this through. I want to take down this boss. He's a friggin' like crime lord. Mark's like, no, this is not Mark. I keep calling him Mark. Omni-Man's like, no, look, this is beneath you. Why are you going to help him? He's going to use you. And when he said it was beneath you, I don't know why it was giving me a little racist feelings. And I wouldn't be surprised if he low-key was. Omni-Man, that is. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't. He just seems to have no regard for human life, especially people he feels are beneath him. So it's like, if you feel that way about Titan, how do we know you don't feel that way about your wife? Like, and there's points where I feel like he almost wants to say that to Debbie, and he doesn't. So getting back to the dinner, he foreshadows about, Titan's probably going to use you. And if you do help him, you're going to learn a painful lesson. And that line really stuck out to me. It really stuck out to me. Because we learn later in the episode, when Titan and Mark go to stop Machine Boss, it does not go well at all. It is very fucking gory. And Mark really receives the brunt of the battle, which we are going to talk about. And it makes me think, did Omni-Man know? Did he know about Titan and his associates and everything? Did he know this entire time? It feels like he did, because the way they foreshadowed that was almost too much of a coincidence. And when I'm going to mention something later that helps to this argument, I really think he knew the whole time. I think he knew about, like, the corruption that goes on. He knows about it. He knows about Machine Head and what he does to maintain his wealth. I don't know. It seems like he knew. So we cut from that to the new Guardians, who are really spending this episode trying to work as a team. And while they're going over the last battle that they had, we kind of noticed that Robot Man has a little bit of a liking to Monster Girl, because he feels like, she's honest, she's real, she's actually sacrificing for the sake of the battle. Because if you don't know, every time Monster Girl transforms into a monster, she turns into a little girl. So she's constantly sacrificing a piece of her life every time she goes into battle. And I think he respects that. And I think that's part of why he has a liking to her, he being robot. So what's it called? So cutting back to Amber. Mark volunteers to help Amber at this community shelter that she works at a lot because it's like her second home. And this is basically like his last chance with Amber. Like, if you mess this up, we're done. And Eve tags along too. And we see Mark and Eve starting to get a little closer because they have that bond of being a hero and trying to balance their normal life. So I'm ready. I am here for them getting together. I just hope Amber really doesn't get burnt too bad in the process, because I'm really starting to like Amber. In the comics, I'm telling you, Amber really has no personality, in my opinion. She does not. She's just Mark's girlfriend, and that it is what it is. But I like how here they give her more to do. They give her a lot more that fleshes out her character. She's very helpful. She works at community centers. She cares about the community. Like, I love that. I love that they include that with Amber, instead of just having her be, Mark's girlfriend and that's it, because there's a lot more, right? So Mark leaves the little conversation with Amber to go meet Titan so they can take down Machine Head. And like I said earlier, the battle, it doesn't go well. They try to catch Machine Head by surprise, but Machine Head has this microchip in his head that Titan stole for him at the beginning of the episode. He stole this like fancy microchip, and basically he can see quantum probabilities. So he knew what was going to happen, and he came prepared. That man brought reinforcements. I'm probably going to put them here on the screen so you know who each one is. Right? Excuse me. So the most important one is this man named Beastman. I believe that's his name. No, Battle Beast. Excuse me. His name is Battle Beast. He's the most important of the reinforcements because he deals the most damage. I mean, holy shit. So Battle Beast and Mark start fighting. He hits Mark into the air. The camera pans up, and out of the corner of the screen, we see Omni-Man. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this whole time, he's been watching. He's probably been tailing Mark since he met up with Titan the first time. He's probably been tailing him. And it just adds to God damn it. It adds to Omni-Man and his sociopathic natures, because he's surveilling his son, doing all of this, and not once does Omni-Man step in to help his son and Titan and the new Guardians. Not one time. He observes the entire time. So after Mark goes angry for a second, really, embodying his father, because his father really has a temper. So Battle Beast comes in, wrecks the shit out of Mark. And the new Guardians are fighting, everyone's fighting, and Battle Beast, boom, rips Mark's guts out, right, with his little hammer thing. Crushes Monster Girl's face with rocks. Breaks Black Samson's arm like it's a fucking chew toy. And swings him to the wall. And after all that's done, Titan gets up and he's like, look, I gotta watch out for me. I'm sorry, and I hope you live. And he leaves. He basically leaves Mark to die. And after the paramedics get here, Mark sees his father for a brief second before he loses consciousness. And his father essentially leaves him to die. Like, that's just crazy to me. But as someone who's read the books, this isn't unfamiliar behavior for Mark. He is cold. He is really cold. And, he values Mark training over anything else. So the fact that he did this, this is probably Omni-Man's way of saying, look, I told you so. And if you die, you die. I told you so. I feel like that was his thought pattern, and that's insane. So at the end, while they're trying to save Mark, Cecil ends up taking some of Mark's blood for testing. And Titan ends up taking Machine Head's place as the new leader, the new crime lord of the city. And it reminded me a lot. It actually mirrored the ending of Luke Cage season 2, when Luke Cage took over and became like the new ruler or whatever. It mirrored that a lot. And I wonder if Titan's actually going to do any good. I wonder. Man, this was a good episode. There are 2 subplots that I didn't mention. They're important, but I didn't feel like it needed to be in the bulk of the review, so this is just an extra bit. So the first one we have is Robot Man. Earlier in the episode, Robot Man goes to visit the Mauler twins, and basically the reasoning for why Robot Man broke him out is now clear here, because he asked them for their help in cloning. So he brings again this vial of blood, which is probably still Rex's. And so I'm guessing by now his plan is to eradicate everyone on the team who he finds to be a liability. So that's probably going to be like everyone but maybe like Black, Samson, and Monster Girl. He's going to take them all out and clone them. And who knows what's going to happen there. Because remember, the last episode, he seemed to be doing this for that baby, the monster baby that was in the pod. So we'll see where that goes, right? And I think he might do the same thing for Monster Girl, because she was banged up pretty bad. And he was like, look, I'll fix you. He really likes her. The second subplot is with Debbie. Debbie is starting to really, really suspect Omni-Man. And by the end of the episode, she actually ends up finding his suit with blood on it from the Guardians, pretty much proving that he killed them. So we'll see where that goes, right? We'll see. The Omni-Man reveal is coming soon. I can feel it. And I can't wait for it. I don't know what Mark is going to do, because Mark is probably going to feel torn between helping out his father and doing what's right. But I feel like if he finds out, Mark is probably going to try and murder the shit out of his father. But again, we'll see what happens. So that was episode 5. Very, very, very interesting, very entertaining, very much gory. The works. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye.